You feel so terrible for Padme's parents in this scene because they just lost their daughter, Padme. She's dead. They're at her funeral. And they don't even know that they have two additional grandkids out there. Obviously, Padme's parents actually do have grandkids already because Padme's sister has kids, but the point is, Luke and Leia are out there, and Padme's parents don't even know. So it's sad that they lost their daughter, and plus they don't even know that they have more grandkids out there. And of course, they also think that Padme was pregnant when she died, so they think that their pregnant daughter died, so that must feel terrible. And look at their faces; they're like trying so hard not to cry and just maintain a just non-crying face, but they're clearly struggling. So you feel terrible for them. And people might ask, well, why weren't Luke and or Leia given to Padme's parents? And my guess is obviously that is just way too obvious because when you think about it, Darth Sidious knows who Padme's parents are most likely, and if he notices that there's somehow new babies with Padme's parents, he might get suspicious and start doing a little research and a little digging, and he would find out who they are, and then so Darth Sidious would just kill all of Padme's relatives and steal Luke and Leia, so that would be a disaster. But I think the more likely reason that Yoda and Obi-Wan Kenobi did not leave Luke and Leia with Padme's parents is because they just didn't think about it. Like, it just didn't cross their mind because they were thinking about so many other things. And they didn't think about hiding Luke and Leia in plain sight. Because imagine if Luke and Leia were just raised by Padme's parents. Like, Naboo would be occupied by the Empire and a very big Imperial stronghold, considering that it is the Emperor's home world. And so if Luke and Leia were growing up there on an Imperial stronghold, raised by Padme's parents, they would just be hiding in plain sight. They would just be hiding in plain sight the same way Darth Sidious was. So it would be very, very ironic, and it would just be a great way to troll Darth Sidious. Although, if you think about it, another reason that Yoda and Obi-Wan Kenobi did not leave Luke and Leia with Padme's parents is because Jedi are not supposed to have attachments, and Yoda hates attachments, and Yoda was always yelling at Luke Skywalker for his attachments to Leia and Han Solo, his friends. And so the most likely reason that Luke and Leia were not left with Padme's parents is because Luke and Leia would have formed a very big attachment to their grandparents, to Padme's parents. And therefore, it would have made it harder for them to become Jedi from Yoda's perspective. So the main reason would be safety, because if Luke and Leia were left with Padme's parents, then Darth Sidious could easily find them. And the second reason, Yoda and Obi-Wan Kenobi probably just never thought about the idea. And the third reason is that Luke and Leia would form very strong attachments to Padme's parents, and Yoda did not want that. Although it would be very interesting if, let's say, maybe they made it so that Luke and Leia were, maybe if Luke and Leia were given to Padme's parents, maybe they would pretend that they're actually Padme's sister's kids. Because let's just, like, maybe they make up a lie about how Padme's sister had been pregnant the whole time and she just gave birth or something. And maybe they might try to pass it on with Padme's sister's kids. Or maybe they would just say that they adopted them or something. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure Padme's parents would have loved to have raised Luke and Leia, but it was just not allowed. Although, an additional idea is that perhaps Padme's parents could have moved to Alderaan or Tatooine. Let's say that Padme's parents moved to Alderaan, where they could be near Leia, or maybe they moved to Tatooine, where they could be near Luke. That would be interesting too, because obviously, like, no one actually cares about Padme's parents. I doubt Darth Sidious really care about them at all, because, like, whatever, like, they're not important. So if Padme's parents and sister and family, if Padme's relatives had just relocated to Alderaan or Tatooine, maybe they would have just been able to spend more time with Luke or Leia, and they would have been happier. So all those ideas.